Do you ever find yourself thinking I'm in some sort of Kickstarter purgatory where the games just don't seem to fulfill? I know I have, because I have games that are years behind. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about those ones, talk about the top 10 games, uh, kind of a negative top 10 list, to be honest with you, that I'm still waiting to fulfill. You should pull up your own Kickstarter campaign page, see what you have on back order, and let's do this together. My name is Brian from Game Brigade. Thank you for watching, and let's hit it. Before we get there, though, I want to say thank you to Into the Am for sponsoring the channel. Into the Am reached out and asked for a collaboration, and I was more than excited because I love their shirts. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I always rock Into the Am shirts like all the time. I'm always wearing the shirts, and for the past 2 years, I've been wearing them because they're fit, their feel. I'm a big guy. I've got a big chest, and finding shirts that have cool graphic tees like this one that fit my body are hard to find. If you go on over to their website, you can find all the different types of shirts that you can find available. They have all these sweet graphic tees, and if you bundle them, you can see you can get 3 for $65 of any of these types of graphic tees. Any sale that is located on this website, you can use my discount code BOARDGAME to get an additional 10% off site-wide. And they don't only have graphic tees, they have a whole bunch of different things. You got basic tees, polos, tank tops. My wife has purchased sweatpants through these guys before. There's plenty of different things you can check out. I would recommend checking out the website Into the AM. Remember to use my discount code BOARDGAME for an additional 10% off. It supports myself, it supports Into the AM, and I appreciate you guys for doing that. Okay, so we are on to the 10 crowdfunding projects that are in purgatory hell for me, and we're going to be starting off with the most recent campaign and going to the furthest. And this one here is the Sunnygeeks 1.5 modular gaming table. Not quite a crowdfunding board game, but still part of the crowdfunding space. I had originally bought a game theory tables table, and I have a video on this channel discussing my opinions of that, and I have removed that table from my life, happily. But in the interim, my wife thought this was a really cool table, so we decided to back this one, and we are still waiting on it. This was funded on June 1st, 2022, with an estimated delivery date of February 2023. Now, they've had multiple setbacks regarding magnets and, production issues, and they are still in fulfillment. In fact, if we went to some of their updates, it looks like they have fulfilled all of category 1. Like, they have multiple categories. So batch 1 is fully complete. I am unfortunately in batch 2, so I still have to wait for my fulfillment, but it looks like they are fulfilling. But this one has definitely been one I've been waiting on for a while. So that is the Sunnygeeks modular gaming table 1.5. Next, we have Kingdoms Forlorn. This funded on February 15th, 2022. And this is one from the publisher Into the Unknown. And I went all in on this game. I'm not sure why I went all in. Let me see here. I can't remember. I might have pledged $1. I did this core pledge originally, but I did eventually upgrade this to the all-in. This game features multiple, kind of a quirky kind of characters, if I remember right. But you're kind of going through a very dark, kind of gothic, horror-ish setting, but with these quirky characters. It's kind of an interesting thing as you defeat different types of minions, as you work yourself up to different types of bosses. The egghead guy here in the middle was the one that we fought. The different expansions were all settings completely separate from each other. Like, I remember there was like a blood kingdom, and then like a plant kingdom or mushroom kingdom, and a stone kingdom, and they all have a very different aesthetic feel. I've heard great things from people who tested this game, and that was one of the main reasons why I backed this game, because of the pedigree of the design team behind it. But it's been a while. They are behind October. Actually, they're not technically behind. This is one that I was actually questioning putting on this list. I did question putting on this, but it's still one of my older campaigns because their estimated delivery date is October 24. of this year. So October of this year. So this is the only one that might be caveated, but it is still an older back. February 2022 is a long time ago, 2 years ago over in terms of when we decided to back this game. So hopefully it does arrive this year. Hopefully it doesn't have any delays. They're one of the only campaigns that actually give themselves kind of that leeway time, knowing they're going to have to work on this one. The next one is kind of surprising in terms of how long this has been taking. This was funded on August 31st, 2021, and this is the Tanares RPG, the 5e compatible set. And effectively, this came with a bunch of different types of books, 5e designed books, that will basically allow you to use the Tanares adventures, miniatures, and the characters in the world that's part of that thing in a 5e setting. I thought that was really cool. They had a lot of good pedigree in terms of the art, the writers and the designers of other 5e stuff, and you had a lot of miniatures that would be compatible over to Tanares, so you could bring this in. But this has been taking such a long time. Now, I finally did check out some of the updates here and took a look here. And it does look like we're getting some shipments. And I was checking this out, looking up where everything's at. So hopefully this arrives this year within the next few months. Because, man, I've been waiting for a long time. And in fact, this is not the only Tanares one that we're waiting on. We're also waiting on the most recent, like, big box complete collection from this, because the current organization that I have is just miserable. But we'll see what I can do with the new stuff. But yeah, this is the Tanares 5e RPG set. And then, this one's a rough one. This is actually out of order. Let me move this here. This is out of order. This one is Soul Raiders. This company, I can't remember the name of the company, One for All. I can't even remember the name of this company. This was funded on July 7th, 2021, with an estimated delivery of December 2022. Soul Raiders is a game that I covered, so I was part of the preview first impressions team that was chosen for this, and I was intrigued. This is a game that's kind of like a narrative campaign story. They really try to make it like a book, like a choose your own adventure book, where you are going to kind of do a point and click adventure style movement through this world, and then you'll have action cards to interact with different types of enemies that you're going to be facing. It was a very innovative game, and effectively the way it works is you'll have these chapters, and these chapters all have art depicting the location you're in, and there's little hints and places you can go to that have little numbers associated to them, and you can decide kind of where you want to go along the track, and then your decision paths will change what kind of cards you're going to be revealing as you go through. This one was wild in terms of it taking so long. Like I said, July 2021 is when this launched. It took them, I believe, until like 2023 to even launch the Pledge Manager. It took such a long time to get the, I was wondering right here, closing November 2nd. It took them a long, okay, Pledge Manager status. So yeah, it was 2023 when they finally, Pledge Manager opening, June 28th, 2023. That's wild to me that it was like 2 years later. So for 2 years, we're sitting here wondering, like, what's going on? Like, is this game even existing? Obviously, they had to do a lot of writing. There's a lot of story going on in this, and I'm excited to know what's going to happen with it at some point. But man, this one has been a long doozy. I'm hoping it shows up, and hopefully it's as good as I remember it being back in 2021, because that was a long time ago. Okay, now we're on to this one, Chai Tea for Two. Now, I didn't do coverage for Chai Tea for Two for Dan and his wife, but I did do a should you back on this video, and I've had people comment on my video when I after the fact, saying like, hey, you should take this video down because of the way this company is responding to their backers. Chai Tea for Two funded on May 4th, 2021, with a estimated delivery of February 2022. And effectively, this was taking the Chai Tea board game system and making it kind of like a two-player game with some pretty interesting deluxeified components. As you prepare your tea, you make it, you prepare it for shipping and whatnot. It was kind of a cute idea, and I like the design behind this, and I don't know why they are so far behind in terms of fulfillment. But if you go to the comment section, these people are salty. There are people who are my kind of head's in the way, so let me just move me out of the way for a second. There's some people here that are really salty. I thought this was pretty funny. 4 days ago, it's April 5th right now, so technically this would have been for April 1st. Today is the perfect time for an update. I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, just definitely people are very, very upset with how this is going for them. The last updates here are talking about post-production, and like they're acting like things are happening, but these updates are also pretty far behind. September 9th, 2023. Then you have November 18th, 2023. Nothing since then. It's been a long time. Yeah, sure, we'll request an update. You'll know you're never going to get a response from that. But yeah, Chai Tea for Two, a 2-player game using the Chai system with a game that was already delivered. Who knows what happened? I don't know, man. The company, as soon as it's fulfilled, they kind of fell off the face of the earth and just were very sporadic in their updates, but constantly teasing things. And in fact, if you go to their website, it says that the game should be delivered by January 2024. It says on the top, Chai Tea for Two, delivering January 2024. I don't know where it is. I don't think anyone knows where it is. So that's this one. Probably one of the more controversial games on this list. And what can you say? Next is Stellaris Infinite Legacy from Academy Games. Stellaris was a game that came out of the gates swinging. I made a should you back on this video, on this game, because this company basically launched their game with nothing showing us anything about the game, purely based off the IP, and they basically skyrocketed to like $1.5 million out of the gates. No rule book, no how to plays, just this image of a 4X game with a bunch of renders of ships on a board, which kind of looks like Twilight Imperium. And I was like, this looks cool. I like Stellaris. I'm a huge fanboy of the system, but what is this board game? I took the shot anyways. I backed the game. We're still waiting on it. I have faith. Now, I've talked to you, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, at several conventions. We've talked about this game, and they're talking about the development cycle that they're going through with it. But man, so Stellaris, what was Stellaris funded March 11th, 2021, with an estimated delivery date of April 2022. They were smoking something if they think that they were actually going to get something out by April 2022. If you look at their current updates, they are still talking about their development. They're still going through and making changes to the game, making design choices, event cards. They are still in the deep production phases of development cycle. So we're not even to the point of designing the game, and they just recently launched the Pledge Manager. So this is all relatively new, but man, 2 years later, we're still waiting on something here. And I'm still would love to go to a convention and see some physical prototypes. They still just have the box, like a cardboard box with nothing with it. So yeah, this one definitely is been locked in purgatory for a while. I'm excited for when it eventually shows up. Hopefully the friends that I wanted to play this with are still interested in it 6 years later or whenever it decides to eventually show up. But yeah, that is Stellaris. This next one I feel kind of bad talking about. This is USS Freedom. This is funded on November 17th, 2020, actually, with an estimated delivery of December 2021. And this was by Dreamcraft Games. And Dreamcraft Games has been a good group of passionate board game designers who want to bring board games to life. And I've worked with them in several different capacities, or the designers in several different capacities, with like Age of Innovation. I believe they might have some work with Age of Rome, and USS Freedom. USS Freedom was a space game, very interesting idea between like traversing the galaxy, having a whole bunch of different types of interactions that you can occur with, ground combat, combat within your ship. It was an interesting stuff. I didn't like the idea of the plot where they're like, you're a bunch of cosplayers at a Comic-Con who are abducted and taken into the USS Freedom, and whatever you were cosplaying are your powers. So if you were cosplaying as Harry Potter, you now have the powers of Harry Potter. If you were cosplaying as Darth Vader, you are now like Darth Vader. That was their idea. It's kind of quirky. So all your characters are like cosplayers. It's kind of weird. But the actual mechanics were interesting. Now, I played the prototype. It was rough copy back in 2020. Very, very rough prototype. And they've gone through a lot of revisions and changes. Here you can see some of those cosplayers I was talking about. They've gone through some revisions and changes to the game as they're trying to get this delivered, dealing with production setbacks. I get it, especially when you're just a small development team of maybe 1 or 2 guys. It can definitely be a hard thing to get a game to fulfillment. So I don't want to harp on these guys. They've done a great job. Right here, Age of Rome, Age of Adventures. These are games Age of Adventures actually fulfilled, and I have it on my shelf right now. So they've done a good job getting there. I just hope that this one eventually sees a light of day. And this one might have been just a game with too much scope, too much stuff they were trying to do too early in the company's life cycle, and that might have been their downfall. The next one is Monumental. This is from Funforged. This was funded on June 15th, 2020 with an estimated delivery date of April 2021. And this is one of the games I was most excited for a long time. I was always looking for that civilization game that had the mechanics that I enjoy. This has some deck building mechanics in it that gave me the feeling of building up a civilization and having some interaction with my opponents as I deal with different types of technologies and units and whatnot. And I hope this would be it. I can't tell you because I haven't played it and I've been waiting for almost 4 years for this to show up. The company who designed this, Funforged, unfortunately ran into financial issues because of COVID, and they made a statement basically saying, we have 2 campaigns that are currently back ordered, and they were basically saying, we're going to do the first campaign first. We're going to use all our money to get that campaign, then we'll do Monumental. And they did get their other campaign fulfilled and delivered. And now they're trying to get on this one delivered. And they're taking steps to get to that point. They made a retail distribution partnership with Asmodee so they can sell copies of the game through retail, through Asmodee, which is a way for them to generate money. The unfortunate thing is that means this game is being delivered to retail before backers get it because they're trying to make money. So we're still in that kind of purgatory hell. They also have some really stupid updates. Instead of doing updates here in the update section, you'll see some updates in the comment section, which is incredibly stupid because it's hard for people, if you're not checking the page regularly, to get an update. You have to scroll down here and see updates. And some of these updates they'll say things like, oh, we're going to hold off on fulfilling because we heard that people might be on vacation during the fulfillment time, and we want to make sure that that's not a case. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're going to hold up fulfillment because there might be people on vacation? Like backers? Just fulfill the game. Like, what are you doing? But they've been saying this for a long time. November 29, 2023, shipments are about to begin. Well, we're nearly half a year since then. Still nothing. We have no idea what's happening. Still waiting on these fulfillments to occur. Hopefully by mid-year we get some information on this one. But man, this one has definitely been one of my most anticipated games that just will not deliver. And waiting almost 4 years on this one. Next, we're going to be going on to Mythic Games, HEL The Last Saga. This was funded on May 12th, 2020, with an estimated delivery date of June 2021. When I backed this game from Mythic Games, I already had a pretty negative opinion of Mythic Games at this time. I've made many videos during this period of how I felt like Mythic had really bad rule books and they just didn't have their games. They had great designs in terms of miniatures and world building, but the games were hard to play. And I still kind of hold by that for a long time. I think they just made very bad rule books for a long time and always required like a 1.5 fix for their games. And so I backed this one, though, on the back of watching Quackalope and Board Game Co.'s coverage of it, and they seemed so hyped for it, and it sounded good, but I questioned if there was even a game here. And I think that was true. I don't think there was a game actually in development, like not a game in development, but there was no actual like big scope game made. I think they had like a design, an idea, in a first scenario kind of designed, and I think they were just kind of building it out from there and over the years. And because of COVID and the fact that they weren't selling more product, they ran out of money. And so they eventually have sold this game to CMON, the IP in this game, and CMON will be taking over production. So anything I have here, anything I could say about this game is going to be completely out the window, because CMON basically said that they looked at this game and said, there's not enough here for us to make something that's salvageable, so we're just going to redo it ourselves and make our own game. And they are pledging to give people who back this game at least a core pledge. I appreciate that. Some people were mad about that. I'm like, you should be thankful that CMON's doing that. Like, they technically don't owe us anything. So I'm grateful that they're willing to do that, and I'm going to get a little bit of something out of this money I pledged 4 years ago away. So yeah, this one is just a huge disappointment with Mythic. And this was my last campaign I backed from Mythic, and I basically told myself I'm never backing another Mythic game. Even after I backed this one, I was like, I'm never backing another Mythic game until Rainbow Six hit. And then that one got me because of the IP. Luckily, that finally showed up and we got it in the mail. But man, yeah. So not my oldest one, though. This is still not my oldest withstanding campaign. That one is going to be held by Dawn of Madness. I backed this on November 19th, 2019, and within the delivery date of October 2021. So this was a 2019 backing of mine with the delivery date in 2021. So they even gave themselves more cushion to be like more than most backers. Like normally you'll see just like an 11-month cycle for a campaign to be delivered. They gave themselves like a 2-year cushion, and we're still waiting on this one. Dawn of Madness was a horror-based game, and when I backed this, I was kind of intrigued with horror-based board games. I backed this one, and I backed another one game called Alone, and I did not back Nemesis, which is funny because I did eventually get Nemesis way sooner over those other games. But Dawn of Madness was a horror-based board game with character development stories as you progress through it. Now, I don't know if the game that we're going to be getting is anything like what I could tell you it was delivered here or shown here, because this game has gone through a lot of development cycle changes as they refined the game, tweaked things, rewritten complete chapters. It's a long, I couldn't even tell you what game I'm going to be getting and if it's going to share, what kind of identity it's going to share from this. But I do know I've been waiting a long time for this one. And I still wonder if it's going to be something I'm going to want to play. You know, there's that feeling at some point when you back something and you wait 5-6 years for it to show up. Is it still something you are interested in, or have you filled that niche already in your collection? And when this eventually shows up, are you going to have that enthusiasm? I will say a majority of the time I don't have that enthusiasm anymore when these campaigns take so long to deliver. You just lose that spark that carries you forward. And I thought that would be a fun reason why to talk about this, because it's a reminder of how long sometimes these campaigns can take, and to, you know, be careful with your money, because the joy and the excitement of these campaigns are great when you're backing them on the crowdfunding site, and that can sometimes carry that excitement for several months. But can you carry that excitement for that game for several years? I have a hard time doing that. I wonder if everyone else has a hard time doing it, because a lot of times I get these games and they just fall flat for me because I just don't care. A perfect example, I just got 7th Citadel in. That was another game. Actually, so the whole reason I wanted to make this video, I should have put this at the beginning of the video. The whole reason I wanted to make this video is all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just got swamped with all these crowdfunding games just showing up at the same time. I got Rainbow Six, we got Robinson Crusoe, 7th Citadel, Firefly, ISS Vanguard, Unsettled, Euthia, like Sleeping Gods. Like, I'm not kidding, and that's just what I'm looking at right here, dude. Guys, I had so many games showing up, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm losing my mind. I don't have the time to play these games. What am I gonna do? So I was like, I don't even care. Like, Robinson Crusoe, I don't even care anymore. 7th Citadel, I don't care anymore. What do I do now? So that was kind of the idea of this video, talking about what games have been still out there. What am I still waiting for? Because I meant to talk about this actually in my last crowdfunding, like my month in review, I've been like not backing games right now because I just have too many games that just hit all of a sudden. And I'm like, I still have games that I'm waiting on. And these are just my 10 oldest. We still have some that are more like still in the queue that are recent that I'm still waiting on. So I've been like really trying to like push the brakes on any type of crowdfunding and purchasing even retail games because it's just too much. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. What a ramble here at the end of the video. What fun. Remember, if you're still here, please check out Into the Am. Use my discount code and my link in the description and the pinned comment. I would really appreciate you guys helping the channel out. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.